Here's Johnny.
Take your stinking paws off.
Be cool. Be cool.
You fools! You're in danger! He's alive! He's alive! Wait, 21 gigawatts! Hallelujah! Holy shit! You follow me, this?
Jack burnt me.
Won't do any good to run, girly boy. Stop it!
What's up, you sci-fi loving bastards, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer, and it's time to get back into the collection game. So we're going to be knocking some few more sci-fi films out. Got a bunch of good gems in here, some classics, some oddities, all the good stuff. So let's dive right in and see what we have next on this collection sci-fi video. So, first up is a rather interesting sci-fi dystopian kind of film. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's kind of an under-the-radar classic gem, but and very odd, and the subject matter is actually pretty demented if you think about it. But the movie I'm talking about is ZPG. That is Zero Population Growth. ZPG. Zero Population Growth. Yeah, this movie is really, really awesome. It's got a ton of atmosphere to it, just a really cruel, brutal picture. Oliver Reed is in the main role. And Geraldine Chaplin, I do not know much about her, but she is the wife of the pair. And it's pretty much set in a future society where an oppressive government kind of regulates populations. So you're not really allowed to have kids unless it's through the government. You definitely can't have multiples, so it's an extreme kind of fascist kind of government. And Oliver Reed and Geraldine, they secretly have a child, and they have to keep it under the radar, hidden from the government, of anyone pretty much. So they're leading like double lives, and it's just a really, really weird, strange 70s kind of sci-fi flick. Yeah, it's really, really amazing. Just the style is very 70s future style. Yeah, just a really cool film. Yeah, the thing that I remember most about it is just like these domes that can trap people. That's how the police kind of grab people off the street, is they just put this big dome over them and just kind of keep them concealed. It's a really interesting film. I suggest you hunt it down and just check it out for yourself, because it's really cool. Yeah, good stuff. Let's just keep moving on to the next one. And the next sci-fi film is a very classy production. What year was this bad boy out? I want to say it was 1956. Yep, 1956. It's a great, great classic sci-fi film. It is Forbidden Planet. And totally badass. It's that classy 50s sci-fi kind of film where it's pretty much about like space exploration. A spaceship and crew go to this new planet and find the dangers there. There's actually somebody there, an Earthling, or I don't know if he's an Earthling or just a humanoid guy, but he's studying an ancient race that used to live on the planet. But they find out that it's actually, the planet was destroyed by this invisible kind of creature that's just wrecking shop. But yeah, it's really cool. It's got Leslie Nielsen in one of the like main hero roles before he was like Mr. Comedy in the 80s. But Anne Francis is in it, and Walter Pidgeon. So it's a really, really amazing film. Picked it up on Blu-ray because it's just one of those classic productions that you got to have in the collection if you're a huge 50s sci-fi fan. Yep, totally badass film. The effects work, the special effects are amazing, practical effects, miniatures, just all that kind of stuff that was in the 50s that they used to bring the films to life. Just a really great across the board, just a solid production to say the least. This was directed by Herman Hoffman. So way to go, Herman. You the man, Herman! But a great sci-fi film. Forbidden Planet. Had to have it in the collection. Now let's move it on to a 1980s, so it's the early 80s, and it's a TV series, kind of mini-series that came out around that time. It's like a collection of different short stories that kind of span trips to Mars and the interactions with Martians and stuff like that. If you haven't guessed it, it's the Martian Chronicles, and that cover is just absolutely badass. I love this edition by Kino Lorber. They put it out. It's just fantastic. I love this TV series or TV mini-series or whatever you want to call it to death. It's got a lot of cool thematic tones to it. The short stories are almost like Twilight Zone episodes. And it just kind of shows Rock Hudson's character through the ages kind of trying to get trips to Mars surface, and then when they do get there, something goes wrong, so they send another team up, and it's like each interaction they have with the planet and the Martians are different. It shows like the trials and tribulations and struggles of kind of colonizing Mars. It's just really badass. Even though it's made for TV, it does really well with the visuals. It's got a really vivid style to it. The Martians are totally creepy, but yeah, like I said, it's like a Twilight Zone kind of episode, a lot of them. It's really cool stuff. They really go out there in weird, uncharted places, so it's got a lot going for it in this little mini-series, but totally badass. I actually reviewed this on my blog long time ago. I don't know if I'll ever revisit it in video format because it's such a huge scale of a production that I don't know how I would be able to condense it down into like kind of my 5 or 6 or 7 minute kind of video reviews on the channel. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite kind of sci-fi productions. The Martian Chronicles. I know it's based off of I can't even say his name. Why can't I say his? Oh, it's Richard Matheson and Ray Bradbury. So got a bunch of heavy hitters in the writing department and story department. So yep, it's just badass. If you haven't seen it before, check it out. Check a trailer out on YouTube or something. Just see what the flavor is, and if it's your cup of tea, then definitely check it out because I dig it. But let's move on to a totally different production. I categorize this film as sci-fi, even though it doesn't have the kind of standard sci-fi tropes and kind of futuristic setting. But I guess it is in the future, but it's more of a downgraded kind of Mad Max premise. But the movie I'm talking about is the blockbuster flop, but one of the most entertaining films I've seen. It is Waterworld, and this is the deluxe Arrow release that has the I think 3 different versions of the film on it. But yeah, it's the baddest of asses edition. I don't even remember what the names of these cuts are. But, yeah, there's a theatrical cut, a limited edition contents, TV cut, and the Ulysses cut, which I think is the longest cut of them all. But they actually showed that on TV a few times. That's what kind of got me intrigued. And when I heard they were doing the release, I'm like, I gotta pick that up because I love the film, and I love all the deleted scenes they put back in and kind of extended everything. But yeah, the movie is really cool. It's kind of a black sheep kind of flick where it's kind of mostly known for being the box office flop that when it came out in the 90s somewhere, I want to say 93. I'm just taking a stab at that year. But yeah, great cast. Dennis Hopper's totally batshit crazy as the villain. Kevin Costner does a good job as the hero. I don't really have a problem with him or any of his movies. I know some people, he rubs them the wrong way, but for me, I love Kevin Costner. Hell, I even love his Robin Hood. Even though he loses and gains his accent like he's bipolar or something. But yep, great film, Waterworld. Really love it. Had to pick it up on the Arrow edition just so I could have those extended cuts. And because I've owned it on DVD in different formats, I think, over the years. But boom, definitive one right there. Well, let's keep moving on to a different kind of post-apocalyptic film. The last one was a water one where the polar ice caps melt and everything's flooded. and it's a Waterworld. Well, this one is a the typical apocalyptic kind of post-apocalyptic flick, where bombs go off, I guess, and just the world's to shit, and people are just scrounging for scraps. The movie I'm talking about is A Boy and His Dog, the very unorthodox A Boy and His Dog. A very, very weird film. If you have not seen this one, I don't even know how to describe it. Pretty much follows Don Johnson as this young kid, and he has a little dog that can talk with him through telepathy, and they just pretty much scour the countryside for women for Don Johnson's character to have sex with. So, very weird, very demented. It definitely wouldn't fly today in movies, but he pretty much just gets into misadventures with his dog throughout the post-apocalyptic landscape, searching for chicks. Really weird film. They really do go off the rails. Even if that premise doesn't sound crazy enough, they go even more off the rails further down in the film with some dark stuff. So it's just all over the place. Really cool stuff. Nothing you've ever seen before. It's definitely original flick. Yeah. Definitely check it out. I know this Blu-ray is like dirt cheap out there, so if you're just curious, grab it, check it out, and see what you think. It's really interesting. It's weird. It's weird. But let's keep moving on to the next movie. And it's going to be a collection. I don't know if you heard that. My cats are running around like dickheads right now, making a whole shitload of noise. I got two cats in here because one was the cat that my daughter and I got, and then my girlfriend's daughter has her cat here, so they've been playing and get to know each other over the last month or two. But let's get back to the movies. Matrix. Matrix 1, and then we have Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. I know the two sequels are not a lot of people's cup of tea. I thought they were good, not as good as the original, of course, but they definitely show us something we haven't seen before, even though it was familiar from the first movie. Kind of expands the world. More characters, the CGI, computer-generated effects and stuff like that are a little iffy in some of the parts, but yet the original is probably the most solid. It is the most solid of the three. Just a great premise, really took the world by storm when it came out. Just awesome stuff. I mean, I don't even know how much I really need to talk about this film because everyone knows about this series, but yeah. Picked it up. I didn't really get. I know there's a box set out there that's like the ultimate box set. It collects them all together, but I kind of randomly just picked them up when they were cheap at different places. So yeah, I got all three, and I know I have the Animatrix on DVD, but I don't have it displayed anywhere. So yep, I got the Animatrix, which is a really badass collection of animated shorts. Some are just traditional animation. Some are 3D motion capture kind of style, so it's a really cool collection of shorts. It's actually really badass. It's probably one of the best anime collections or anthology kind of stories out there. But let's keep moving on to a fun little 80s adventure sci-fi film. And the movie I'm showing next is The Last Starfighter. Yeah, I've seen this maybe once a long time ago and watched it in bits and pieces throughout the years. I have to sit down and actually watch it from start to finish now because it's been a long time. But I remember it vividly, all the different parts, but I just have to sit it down as a whole and check it out to get my final perspective on the film. But it's just a damn cool concept. A kid in the 80s who lives in a trailer park. He always goes to the arcade and plays these this spaceship kind of flying game. I think it's actually called Starfighter. He plays the Starfighter arcade. He's really badass at it. Then all of a sudden one day, aliens from the sky come down and recruit him into the Starfighters kind of guild. And there's a big battle going on. He doesn't know what the hell's happening. He thought it was just a game, but it was actually a practice kind of run for people to see who could be the best at it. And he was recruited, and now he's in an intergalactic battle, and it's just really cool. The effects are really awesome for the time. Creature effects, just everything. Special effects are really good. Just a cool film. Really cool 80s kind of action sci-fi film. It's got a lot of 80s style to it, 80s heart. The characters are great. Just a really fun movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. The Last Starfighter. Badass. I wish I was the Last Starfighter. But next is going to be a little bit different of a sci-fi film. This one's actually pretty damn brutal. It's directed by Stuart Gordon. And if you know anything about him, you know he makes some pretty gore-tastic, just crazy brutal flicks. And this one is one not a lot of people talk about because it's kind of a low-budget sci-fi film, but it actually is really well done. You might actually be surprised at how really great this film is. Fortress is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Great, great film. It has Christopher Lambert in the main role, and he plays a man, much like ZPG, Zero Population Growth. It's in a society where the government regulates how many kids you can have and if you can have kids at all. And his wife and him, they decide to have a child without the government's permission. So they find out, track him down. They throw his ass in prison. She gets across the border. I can't remember if the kid survives or not, but he's in a secure, maximum security future prison with lasers and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he pretty much has to try to figure out how to get out of there. Yeah, it's just a badass film with a lot of gory moments. It reminded me a lot of Total Recall. So if that sounds anything up your alley, definitely give this one a look. It is badass, and it's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm going to probably watch it sometime soon and maybe do a review on it because it's just that great of a flick. It's really cool, and it'll catch you off guard if you're not expecting anything. If you're expecting a shitty 80s kind of goofy sci-fi flick, you're going to be really pleasantly surprised when it kind of goes above and beyond those trappings. Boom, Fortress. Fortress. All right, let's keep moving. How the hell? I haven't even been talking that long and my throat's already killing me. This is one of my favorite sci-fi horror films. It is Event Horizon. Woo! Of course, it's got Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne in the lead roles. And the rest of the cast is just amazing as well. And the director is Paul Anderson, so this is actually one of his best films. I know he went on and did that Resident Evil series and just burned that thing to the ground, but this is one of his earlier efforts, and it's just badass. Even though the studio kind of meddled in this one, and it's not the final version because they cut a lot of gory shit down, but yeah, really good package here, sci-fi package. It's about Sam Neill's character created a ship that was able to make a black hole or something like that and travel across the galaxy. So he, it gets lost its first voyage, and then all of a sudden 7 years later, I believe it was, they show up out of nowhere. And so he takes a team of people out there to go check it out. So it's kind of like a haunted house in space kind of flick. But so it brought something back with it when it went to the other edge of the galaxy. So it's just really, really creepy in parts, a lot of cool horror elements. It almost has like a Hellraiser style to it because it's really sadistic and demented. Great film. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen it before. It's got a lot of cool parts to it. Actors are amazing. The special effects are stupendous. Just a great film all around. I hope that someday a director's cut comes out that brings all the gore and bloody stuff back in, because that would be pretty cool to check out. I'm trying to think. Should we keep moving? Let's go with this next one. This one's always is tricky because I can't remember if I've seen this one or not. All right, the Masek Experiment. There's a few Quatermass films out there, and I can't remember which ones are which. I don't believe I've seen this one, but who the hell knows? But they're always really cool films. They 50s style kind of black and white horror sci-fi films that they all dabble in different kind of content, but they always really deliver in the end. Val Guest directed this one. He's had a whole bunch of great films under his belt. Whoa, I'm getting a lot of glare. But this one's really looks like it's fun. just looks like it's a really cool, classy sci-fi film. I believe it's the 50s too. Yep, 1955 is when this came out. And it's another Kino Lorber release. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it because I don't believe I've seen it. I know I've seen another one where there's this big ant creature, something like that, that's attacking a city. But yeah, these are all pretty interesting kind of flicks. And let's round it off with, ow, 2 more. Ah, movies bit me. 2 more. Let's do 2 more, and I'm gonna kind of combine them into one because it's two movies that go together. One's the first movie and then a sequel, but they're totally kind of different in style. Movies I'm talking about are 2001: A Space Odyssey. Oh god, there's a lot of glare. 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then we have the 2010. What's the tagline? The Year We Make Contact. 2010, The Year We Make Contact. 2 totally different films. The first one by Stanley Kubrick is just the ultimate sci-fi classic. It's amazing. Ethereal, really just heavy material kind of thrown at you. There's not a lot of explanation. You kind of flow into it. Just really epic in scale and scope. Just a great film. I mean, you don't really expect anything less from Stanley Kubrick. But yeah, just a great classic. If you haven't seen it before, just turn this off and go put it in. Really good stuff. And the sequel was actually directed by Peter Hyams. I gotta get that name right because I actually... Wait, did I already did. I just dropped the Outland review. I think I said it right. Peter Hyams. But if I didn't, sue me. But yeah, this one's really, really great. I actually like this one a lot. I know not a lot of people talk about it. They mostly talk about Kubrick's 2001 version, but yeah, this one is just really, really cool. It kind of continues off of that one, but it doesn't have really much to do about it. Not the same characters or anything. But it's just, yeah, it's really cool. I gotta watch it again because it's been a long, long time. But it's a fantastic sequel that doesn't really hit the epic qualities of the original, but definitely brings a new kind of interesting story to the table. But yeah, 2 great, boom, flicks there. Alright, I think I'm done because I'm losing my voice for some reason. I didn't think I was talking for that long. But yeah, guys, I think we're on to part 3. That was part 3 of the sci-fi collection. I know we got a few more parts to go if we're going to complete this one. But we're well on our way and getting in deep into the sci-fi, science fiction crazy collection. But hopefully there were some great ones in there that you forgot about or never heard of in your life. But yep, and some ones that you just want to revisit and see how great they were. But guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you have time, hey, leave a comment below because I'm going to be chatting your ass off all day long. Guys, I'm loving the more interactions we're having here on the channel and just really having a good time. Just deep in movie craziness. But guys, I'll see you later. We can just get the hell out of my house, alright? Later.